On today's episode of the Mark Titus Show, Jimmy Butler just delivered one of the greatest playoff performances of all time. And I'm not sure how much of that is hyperbole, but it feels right. I said it felt right coming out of my mouth, and I'm going to stand by it because this man just set the Heat playoff record, 56 points, the fourth most in a playoff game in the history of the NBA for any franchise. The Heat, a team that were in a play-in game, not only in a play-in game, lose to the Hawks at home, have to beat the Bulls at home to even make the playoffs, are now up 3-1 on the number one team in the NBA record-wise, the Milwaukee Bucks. And it came on a night when the Bucks were dominating and led this game from start to almost finish. The Heat are down 12 with 6 minutes left. Jimmy Butler scores like 19 points in the final 6 minutes. That was just it was an all-time where were you win type game, and it sounds insane to say about game 4 of a first-round series between a 1 and 8 seed, but I don't know. I stand by it. I really do. I really think that I will remember Jimmy Butler going bananas like he did tonight for a very long time. That was absolutely incredible. Also, the Los Angeles Lakers go up 3-1 on the Grizzlies. We have two play-in teams that are now up 3-1. LeBron didn't even play well, barely tried like half the game, still had 20-20 game, still makes all the big plays down the stretch. It's insane how well he can figure out when to turn it on, when to not, when to conserve energy, all that sort of thing. He's a master at that at this point. This was, I felt like for most of the game, not a great game, but a close game. Felt like a Big Ten game. Felt like a lot of missed shots, a lot of charges taken, a lot of bad officiating, but I'll be damned. In the end, it made for some exciting basketball. So that'll be fun to talk about. Also, Brandon Walker joined the show to talk about a lot of stuff outside of the basketball world, just to give us, a reprieve a little bit. So he came on. We talked about the NFL draft starting on Thursday. Mostly the quarterbacks. Are these 4 bad quarterbacks? Are any of them good? Are all of them good? I don't really know. It's hard to make sense of it all. It does sort of feel like it's last call at the bar, and you're just convincing yourself that the crop of 4 sitting in front of you is prettier than they actually are. But damn it, you got to make the pick. So we talked to him a little bit about that. Also, he put out his top 10 college football coaches list recently on Unnecessary Roughness, his show, and it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. I had a lot of problems with it, and it just makes zero sense. And he somehow contradicted himself a million times in a list of 10 names. So we talked through that. The Colorado spring game took place. Deion Sanders then saw half of his roster transfer. So we talked about that a little bit. The Oakland A's are going to Vegas. All sorts of other stuff with Brandon. We had a ton of fun stuff. It was a fun interview. He's the best, and I love having him on the show. Don't tell him that, but I do. Anyway, 2 fun NBA games that we're going to talk about first before we get to Brandon. Fun episode coming up. Let's get into it. All right, let's start with the Heat going up 3-1 on the Bucks. Jimmy Butler, as I said, 56 points. You kind of run out of words to describe this guy. I was thinking this as I was watching it happen, TJ, as he is just like willing the team to a win that they had no business. The Heat had no business winning this game. The Heat offense was terrible outside of Jimmy Butler. Duncan Robinson has provided a little bit of a spark now that Hero and Oladipo are out. He's getting more minutes. I think Eric Spoelstra listens to the show. He heard me after the play-in game against the Hawks say, why the hell is Duncan not playing? If you're going to suck on offense and defense, why not let Duncan at least suck on offense and defense? And then he started playing him more, and I'll be damned. Look at where the Heat are at now. Anyway, I digress. Jimmy Butler was just, as I said, you just kind of like don't have words for it. You start thumbing through the thesaurus trying to think of things to say about the guy. But one thing that came to mind was how we were talking last show about Draymond being a villain and how there are a ton of villains in the NBA and that whole thing, whatever that is, with Dillon Brooks too, who we can talk about in a second. Jimmy Butler might be the most likable. He might have the highest approval rating in the NBA. I was thinking about that as I'm watching. I'm like, there's not a single person who is watching this outside of the state of Wisconsin. Bucks fans, obviously. There's not a single person watching this, I don't think, who's like seething at Jimmy Butler having success. Nobody gets like this man has no haters. This man is like he's so humble in his post game press conference talking about Joel Embiid should be the MVP, and that was in the interview on the court, and then he's in the press conference just saying, like, he caught himself at one point. I saw him say, like, I'm paraphrasing, obviously. These moments like bring out the best players show up in these moments. And then he paused and he's like, not that I consider myself to be. I want to be one of those best players, but I don't necessarily think I'm there. He's just like so humble. He works so damn hard. He's so likable. Everything about the dude, I freaking love. And I guess like the one thing I don't love is that I get like, I don't want to say I forget about him, but he just like kind of flies under the radar throughout the regular season, and you almost forget that he's this good until the playoffs come around, and then he just this is not a fluke. This is who this man is. That this is their formula. They play great team defense. They can muck it up, and then Jimmy Butler can become a superhero, and that's what they did tonight. And it was incredible to watch because I almost took the dog for a walk at the end of the game because I was like, all right, this one's over. I'm gonna go take the dog out before the Lakers game tips off. And obviously I'm glad I didn't, because what an ending. What an absolute ending.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny that this show has become so ingrained in my brain now. I was watching the Bucks collapse, and I was like, oh, this is just like when the Jiangsu Dragons had 5 turnovers in a row to lose to the Shanghai Sharks. I was like, what's happening? There's no way that this is actually happening the way it's happening, right? Like this, every time they didn't even have time to like cut to the hero shot of whoever scored. Like there was already a turnover happening at midcourt. It was crazy.
If the Milwaukee Bucks were a Chinese basketball team, someone is getting executed on that team. I'm not even kidding. I mean, that was what a collide. But this is what's funny to me is I guess championship DNA just doesn't exist, because if the Bucks are like the Virginia of the NBA, where this feels so familiar. Seeing the Bucks like choke in the playoffs, and seeing, I mean, the ending of this game did feel like the Virginia Furman game, where you're like, how are you just unraveling to this extent, and no one has any sort of composure whatsoever. I thought that there was like championship DNA within this program, within this franchise, within. It becomes staggering because you find yourself saying, like, if it wasn't for that championship the Bucks won, this would be an all-time historic like choke of a run that they've had throughout the last however many years. But also that's insane to say, because they did win a championship. So like you can't just like dismiss you can't just say like if it wasn't for the one well, they did win the championship, so it counts. But it just doesn't make sense, because what you think of all these guys around the court, your Drew Holiday, your Chris Middleton, your Lopez, your Giannis, obviously. Like these guys, we've seen these guys in massive playoff games. You would think that if there is some sort of secret sauce, secret formula that teams figure out in the playoffs, and then once you figure it out, you know what it takes to win big games and put teams away, and just kind of all the things that talking heads say about basketball this time of year. If those things existed, why did they not exist for the Milwaukee Bucks tonight? And why did they shit down their leg in Miami? And it almost felt like they were in awe of Jimmy Butler toward down the stretch. Like they were also just sitting there just like, damn, this is pretty crazy that this keeps happening. And nobody, I don't know, man. That was wild to see, just to watch an unraveling, not just of a professional basketball team, but of a team that was the best team in the NBA this year, record-wise. And yeah. Say what you want about like teams not caring as much about being, I get that we're in the load management era of the NBA, and the record at the end of the year isn't necessarily indicative of who the best teams are per se. But I still feel like the Bucks were very much a favorite to win this thing, and they still might. Yeah. By the way, they still might be. They have they're back at home. You have to think they're going to win Game 5 just based off of if you're like a vibes guy. If you're just like Jimmy Butler's probably going to be tired, it's a must win. Obviously, you're at home, and then I don't know. I'm just like painting a picture of like how they can come back from down 3-1. I mean, they're going to have Game 7 at home if it happens. Giannis, I still think, is the best player probably in the NBA when he's at the peak of his powers. And I think the Bucks are certainly not dead yet, but this is pretty wild, especially because the Heat the Heat offense has been great in this series before tonight in a way that has been frankly shocking to me and a lot of people that follow the NBA. That they were dog shit all year, but like that Hawks game, they were so bad offensively, and they've been really good against the Bucks. But then tonight, to have Jimmy Butler just play out of his mind like this, I don't. Can the Heat sustain this? Can they do it one more game? I don't know, because like Giannis being out for first 2 games that the Heat won in this series, that's a big asterisk. I don't mean asterisk in like it doesn't count. I just mean like in trying to forecast the future. It's like, all right, are the Heat actually better than the Bucks? I don't know. Maybe throw those games out. Let's see what happens when Giannis plays. Giannis played tonight. The Bucks were the better team for almost that entire game. I don't know. This series is far from over, but it's just crazy that the Heat are even in this position. It's wild, and it excites a guy like me who has been conditioned to believe that the NBA is rigged and that there's only like 3 teams every year that can win it. I mean, if that's not indicative of how wide open these playoffs are, if this series doesn't speak to that, then I don't know what does.
I mean, if it's rigged, then the writers are doing a great job so far in these playoffs. As a guy that doesn't watch a ton of regular season NBA, it's hard to deny that the NBA playoffs are awesome so far.
Yeah. If we get Heat versus Knicks, by the way, in the second round, and we get, that's the slugfest that are going to happen, and that is going to be Big Ten basketball, man. That is going to be, holy shit, that's going to feel like the 90s all over again. Heat Knicks, just like 87-81 finals in the Garden. Oh, man. I can't wait. But yeah, shout out Jimmy Butler. 30 and 30. Sorry, I'm reading the stat. 30-13 in the final 6 minutes were the Miami Heat against the Bucks, and Jimmy Butler scored 19 points. 19 of those 30 points were scored by Jimmy Butler in the final 6 minutes. If they would have played another quarter, like if you put another not even another quarter, just put like another 8 minutes on the clock, I think the Heat end up winning by 25. I think like the wheels fell off to such an extent that the Bucks were like, we're just packing it in. We're just gonna.
Jimmy couldn't miss, and the Bucks literally couldn't dribble. Like they couldn't hold on to the ball. They had nothing.
Dude, crazy. I guess that's the lesson too. Is like never give up on an NBA playoff game. Like anything can happen down the stretch.
I'm pretty sure you gave up on the Heat before the series even started.
I did. Well, their offense was terrible. That's what I'm saying. But then, spin zone TJ, I also said play Duncan Robinson. Duncan Robinson was second. I think him and Bam Adebayo both played 30 minutes tonight. They were second behind Jimmy, obviously, in minutes played for the Heat. Is Duncan Robinson the Jimmy Butler secret unlock? Is he the secret to unlocking Jimmy Butler's potential? I think he might be. In all seriousness, dude, he comes in and he just he lets it fly, and he's hitting everything he's throwing up right now. And that's kind of, I obviously lay it on thick because I know Duncan personally. I don't know if I've ever told that story before. I've only told it a million times on every other show I've done. But yeah, Duncan, I tongue-in-cheek say play Duncan more because I root for the guy and I always will. But I really do think there's something to it. Like when you have a team like the Heat that are so defensive-minded and their offense is so clunky and stagnant and just disgusting to watch at times, just throw Duncan in and just say, like, shoot it when you catch it and see what the hell happens. It just opens up shit and it gets guys it doesn't solve every problem they have. Like, at the end of the day, it still took Jimmy Butler scoring 56 points to pull out a win that you had no business pulling out. But it just gives defenses something to think about. And the Heat are very predictable and very guardable. And I'm not saying Duncan makes them unguardable, but he just adds an extra element. When you have a guy who's like 6'8", that'll just let it fly the second he touches the ball. I don't know. I'm gonna take my wins where I can get them, TJ. But you're right. I did say the Heat were done. And truth be told, if I was filling out a bracket, if I was doing the NBA bracket challenge, I might have picked the Bucks to win it all. So might be scary hours for the theoretical bracket that I didn't actually fill out.
There goes my bracket.
Should have tweeted that tonight. Just
tweet it if the Heat win. Just tweet that picture. No caption. Welp. I blame Grayson Allen.
That's always a good avenue to go down too. Just blame Grayson Allen whenever bad things happen to the Bucks. Let's talk about the Lakers going up 3-1 on the Grizzlies, which is not as surprising, I wouldn't say. The Lakers have absolutely dominated this series, and what I mean by that is that the Lakers have dictated the terms of this series, with the exception of Game 2, which I think was a load management game, honestly. That's what I'm telling myself. This entire series is played on the Lakers' terms. The Lakers, if they want to get up big, they will. Once they get up big, they will then coast because that's how they need to operate right now with Anthony Davis and LeBron. It feels like the Lakers set the terms of every single game. That is how the game is going to get played. And then because of that, they're up 3-1 on the Grizzlies. I say this lovingly. I felt like LeBron wasn't even good tonight. I felt like LeBron was very, very passive, maybe even tired. He's an old dude. He's got a lot of miles on his body. I felt like towards the end of the game, towards the end of regulation, he wasn't. I mean, there were possessions there like D'Angelo Russell brought him back in the game, hitting 3 big threes down the stretch. But then when LeBron did have the ball in his hands, like he would drive and kick, but it wasn't even like an impactful driving. It wasn't like he was drawing defenders or like being aggressive or putting stress on the defense. He was just kind of just like probing. He would run out of space, and then he would just kind of throw the ball out to Rui Hachimura, who may or may not shoot it, whatever. It just felt like very, if you squint hard enough, it looks similar to what we've seen from LeBron. But like, I'm like, man, there's the secret whatever is missing out of this. There's no mojo to this. And then I'll be damned, with the game on the line, he finally drives with authority and with purpose and with intention, throws the floating shot off the glass to get over Jaren Jackson's shot blocking, ties the game, kind of takes over in overtime. Big and one down the stretch. He missed the free throw, but it still counts as an and one. And you're just like, there it is. That's what you want to see out of LeBron for the entire game, but he's also 38 years old, so you're not going to see it out of the entire game. The Lakers continue to confound me because they cannot blow teams out. They will not blow teams out. They rely way too much on role guys. They have LeBron James and Anthony Davis, who are two of the greatest. Say what you want about Anthony Davis. Those are two of the most talented basketball players that have ever touched a basketball in the history of this planet. And yet you'll watch the Lakers down the stretch in playoff games, and it's Austin Reeves, and it's D'Angelo Russell, and it's Dennis Schroeder, and it's Rui Hachimura that are making the plays, and you're like, where the hell are the two guys that are the faces of this franchise? But as I've said on the show many times over, like, that's part of what they're trying to do right now, is pick their spots, and it becomes frustrating because you think how, like, as a fan, you think how a game's supposed to be played, which is like when there's like 8 minutes left, all right, it's LeBron time, LeBron take over. That's not how he's doing it right now. So I start to trick myself into thinking maybe he's washed up, maybe he doesn't want it anymore, maybe it's like he's just kind of going through the motions. And then the snap of a finger, he's back, and you're like, there it is. All right, he's LeBron James. There it was. I can't make any sense of the Lakers, though. I can't, like, they're obviously better than the Grizzlies. I'm fascinated by Kings or Warriors, whoever wins that matchup. That's going to be so much freaking fun to watch the Lakers play them. But yeah, I continue to think, like, rationally, based on like the 35 years of watching basketball in my life, the Lakers, just in a vacuum, as I watch them, I don't think they're good enough to win an NBA title. But then you see them at their best, and you're like, is this all just kind of like a song and dance? And like LeBron's like playing the 4D chess, and I'm just not seeing the bigger picture in the way that he's seeing it. I think that might be the case. I don't know. I'm going back and forth. I can't make any sense of it.
Yeah, it's like LeBron has such control over his gas tank that when he wants to become LeBron again, he could do it. I can't tell how much of it has to do with this Dillon Brooks, like, poking the bear situation. Which, by the way, what an idiot. For those keeping score at home, he put 40 on him. 20, I think 20 rebounds and 22 points counts as 40 on him, when you're, especially when you're a 38-year-old.
Yeah.
Like, Dillon Brooks, what an asshole. What an idiot. That guy didn't have to say anything. And instead, he's costing his team. And not only that, prayers up to anybody that bet on the Grizzlies tonight, because that last-second foul that Dillon Brooks had on AD or Reeves right at the end of the game,
with 0.3 seconds left,
that covered the spread for the Lakers. So not only is he pissing off LeBron to the point where he's like becoming prime Bron again, he's also like costing anybody that bet on Dillon Brooks to stop LeBron. It's one of the fastest rises and falls as a villain I think I've ever seen in sports.
That he did a speed run of his villain arc.
Yes, he became a villain. He punched LeBron in the penis, and then he'll be gone. He'll be playing for the Shanghai Sharks next year.
We have to have set a record for most dick punches in playoff history, and we're not even out of round one yet. I mean, this is insane. Every game, a guy's dick is getting punched or kicked or something. I mean, this is this is incredible. I've never seen it. I need Jake Marsh to put together a one shiny moment of all the dick punches and dick kicks that have happened in these NBA playoffs. Yeah. It's incredible, but you're absolutely right, TJ. Dillon Brooks, you absolute dummy, you buffoon. What have you done? I don't get it. I don't understand. And it goes back to what I said about Draymond, who's actually like playing good defense now against the Kings. I will tip my cap to Draymond. Like he'll be an asshole and he'll look like he did this in the finals last year too, where he laid up some stinkers early in the finals against the Celtics, and I was like, Draymond, you're trying too hard to be a villain. Like, why don't you try to be a good basketball player? And then he turned around and gave the Warriors some good games in the finals. He's done that with the Kings. He's playing better in the Kings series right now. But this is what we said about Draymond is now applying to Dillon Brooks, which is like some part of me would appreciate the villain stuff that you're pulling, the press conferences and the sunglasses and the disgusting hair, just disgusting hair. This man is very self-aware of what he looks like. Like he knows the hair and the goatee, like it looks like fucking snakes slithering down his head with a goatee, which is like the universal sign of villain. Goatees are, that is a villain. That's a villain look. If you want to become a villain, you want to take a heel turn, you grow out your goatee. That's what you do. That's what Dillon Brooks looks like. I would respect some part of this if he wasn't just a horrendous basketball player right now. If he wasn't,
LeBron doesn't even care. LeBron when he popped off and he screamed at the end of the game, he had an ample opportunity to do that right into Dillon Brooks' face, and he was like, "Nah, I don't care. I'm going to yell to the fans." Like, because he literally doesn't care.
Dillon Brooks is like the 15th guy at this point in LeBron's career who's poked the bear. In Dillon Brooks' words, like this is nothing new to LeBron James. He's not. What an absolute moron! Like
he's making LeBron likable. And there are a lot of people that hate LeBron, but LeBron is obviously the face in this rivalry.
I have friends of mine who absolutely despise the Lakers, absolutely despise LeBron. Those are two independent thoughts. It's not because LeBron is on the Lakers. They despise the Lakers forever. They despise LeBron forever. Those two forces came together where LeBron is on the Lakers now, and yet they find themselves cheering for LeBron James and the Lakers in this first-round playoff series just because of the Grizzlies, just because of Dillon Brooks, because of Ja Morant, who, by the way, is incredible. I can't believe Ja Morant is playing. I don't know if he should be playing, honestly. He does not. You want to talk about like figuring out gas tanks, and LeBron knows when to press the gas and to ease up and all that. Ja Morant is all gas at all times. It is terrifying that this man has the wrist. I'm scared he's now going to injure something else because he doesn't want to break his fall with his bad wrist, and he's going to fly 10 feet in the air. And except this time he's going to fall, and he should put his right hand down, but he doesn't, and he just lands on his shoulder or something. Like that's. Yeah. He's an all-time bad faller. It's him and Joel Embiid. We need to do NBA needs to come out with a list of the top 5 bad fallers in the league, because it is scary every single time both of those dudes hit the ground. That I don't know, but Ja, I kudos to him for playing through it. Scoring 45 points in Game 3 was insane, and he was. It wasn't just that he scored 45. He has 6 threes with that bum wrist that he can't even. I don't know how. I honestly I said it on the show over and over and over. He's probably done for the year, because that's what I would have been done. I think that's what it is, TJ. I think about like, what would I do in that situation? What would Anthony Davis have done? If Anthony Davis landed on his wrist, he would have called it a career. That would have been. He had
a moment tonight where he looked like he was going to have to be taken out on a stretcher, and then he came back. He didn't really score much after that, but
he had an impact. He had an impact late in the game. I mean, Anthony. That's what I'm saying. Like Anthony Davis and LeBron are doing like. AD is doing the same shit LeBron's doing. It's just for like different reasons. He's not old. He's just like banged up. So he picks his spots as well. He was terrible this entire game. And then towards the end, obviously he blocks the shot against Ja's buzzer beater at the end of regulation, which wasn't even really that good of a play because, like, I don't know. He's when you're that tall and there's 0.8 seconds left, it's like just stick your arm up, whatever. But he did block the game-winning shot that the Grizzlies could have had. And then he had big plays down the stretch, like offensive rebounds and overtime, and he was playing hard. And they don't win the game without LeBron or AD down the stretch, and it's just funny because like that, like throughout this game, if you didn't know any better, you would just be screaming at your TV like, why are these guys so bad right now? Like, where are these two dudes? Where are they? Where are they? And then right when you need them most, you're like, we're right here. We've always been here. We're here the whole time. It was me the whole time, you know. So
the last thing I had from it was that buzzer beater that didn't count by LeBron at the end of regulation.
Oh
would
my
have
God.
been the greatest buzzer beater in
That would have been-
NBA history.
that would
0.5
have
seconds. He flicks it with his wrist from 3/4 court, switches it.
To catch it and turn and flip like that, like to go from, I'm with you. I'd have to think back. Didn't Jerry West like hit a full court shot in the finals? I want to say, but yeah, I to your point, like that would have been. I mean, it was bonkers that he made it in the first place.
I was watching a call with friends, and they said that's the type of shot that if that was like fourth grade, like in your driveway or something, you'd be like, yeah, that just counts. The game
that counts. Yeah, that counts. No, it's a shot that like maybe before the red line or the backboard now has a buzzer on it, a buzzer light and video review and all this era. Like if this was like 1981, they may have counted it. They may have on it. Like the refs might have just gotten like swept away in the moment and just been
tip
like
the cap. Honor. Yeah.
Yeah. Just no. What else did I have? I already shouted out D'Angelo Russell. It was an ugly game. I really didn't feel like this was that fun of a game. It did feel, I said at the top, it felt like a Big Ten game. The Lakers couldn't hit shit, and it was just like so frustrating to watch. I was getting PTSD to Bama, San Diego State all over again, TJ, because the Lakers couldn't hit any threes, and they were like, all right, let's just drive and drive to the basket and get some layups here. And Jaren Jackson Jr. is swatting their shit, and at no point did they think, are there any other shots we could take other than bricking threes and getting our shot blocked at the rim? No, I guess not. I guess we'll just keep doing this. And then Russell pulled 3 big threes out of his ass, which I don't know how much people remember as time. But D'Angelo Russell, I'm probably just saying this because I'm a Buckeye and I want to give him some props. But he's very easy, he's an easy lightning rod when things don't go right for the Lakers because he has so much talent and he's so inconsistent and he doesn't always play really well, and he wasn't even awesome tonight really outside of that stretch. But they don't win without that. They don't win without his 3 big threes that he hits. And yeah, that's just what this Lakers team has become. It's just like they need these role dudes to step up, which D'Angelo Russell shouldn't probably be a role guy, I guess. For really, he should probably be They should probably be marketed as a big 3, Anthony Davis and D'Angelo Russell and LeBron, if you really think about it. But I don't think that's the reality, unfortunately. I
think it's just because D'Angelo Russell isn't that big.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. He's just not like he's never reached his full potential. And even when he plays well, instead of like celebrating him playing well, it feels like we're all just like, why don't you do this every night? But yeah, that's what this Lakers team is just they're going to need guys to step up. LeBron and AD are going to do their load management as they're actually playing thing. It's just it's a fascinating thing to behold because I do think that like when they're firing on all cylinders, they're definitely good enough to win an NBA title. I just don't think they can do that every single night when bring it for 4 quarters every night like that. So where, when are they going to go to flip that switch and nothing happens, and like what's going to happen then? And I don't know. I am enamored with the Lakers. I can't get enough of watching the Lakers because it just like it sort of breaks my brain how they approach these playoffs. But congrats, up 3-1. I think they're going to take care of business soon enough and move on. And that second round series, no matter who, the Warriors Kings has been awesome. And whoever wins that and plays the Lakers is. These playoffs are nuts, dude. These playoffs are nuts, and we're still in the first round. There's only one team technically that's made it through. The Sixers are through. The Suns are going to be. Kawhi is out now, obviously, and I'm sure the Nuggets are gonna. The Nuggets had the T-Wolves, but then it's kind of fucked around too much. But no, we're not even. There's only one team that's through, and it already feels like it's a bonkers playoff, so I can't wait to see.
And the one team that's through is basically waiting for the Celtics, which is going to be a banger series.
Oh, incredible. I think now I've seen enough from the Bucks. Not that, like, I mean, we've seen enough through the years. I shouldn't have. This is bad by me. I mean, I should have seen this coming, but I just love Giannis too much. I have a Giannis bias. I have a bad Giannis bias where I just like think he's a superhero and he's going to solve a lot of their problems. But the Bucks have shown enough cracks now at this point that even if the Bucks do come back and beat the Heat in 7 games, I think the Knicks Bucks series or Knicks Heat that's going to be awesome. That series is going to be insane. And I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's a fun time to be into the playoffs, and I'm excited to see what happens next. But man, what a night of NBA basketball. All right, let's talk to Brandon. We had Brandon on. I specifically wanted Brandon on because I wanted to talk about not basketball. I get sucked into the basketball vortex too much, and I want to have some fun talking about the draft coming up and maybe a little college football spring game stuff and all sorts of other stuff. Brandon's the man, and he and I could just do a 5-hour podcast if we really wanted, just riffing on all sorts of bullshit. He's the best. So anyway, here's Brandon Walker talking about God knows what. Sometimes the days can get so crazy that you forget to make time for fun. When that happens, you've got to choose to chill. So go ahead, say yes to the midweek happy hours and catching the game after work. And while you're at it, enjoy an ice-cold Coors Light, the beer that's made to chill. There's only one beer out there that's literally made to chill, and that's Coors Light. The mountains on the bottles and cans even turn blue when your beer is cold. That way, you always know when it's time to chill. When you're making time to chill, crack open a Coors Light. It is mountain cold refreshment, made to chill. I am happy to report I went to Santa Barbara this weekend, got out on the sailboat. The Coors Lights were flowing. We were having a great time. What was not flowing, unfortunately, was the sunscreen, and I am burnt up and down my arms, my legs. It's a sad scene, but the good news is I have some Coors Lights. They're so cold. Maybe I just put them on the sunburns. I should have thought to try that. I don't know. I was too busy drinking them. Anyway, when you choose to chill, pair your plans with ice cold Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door with Drizzly or Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/Titus. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. All right, Brandon Walker is here. We're going to talk about all sorts of things. I want to start with the NFL draft, which starts on Thursday because Brandon is a football guy.
I am college football expert Brandon Walker. Please and thank you.
You're also, along with myself, I feel like the two of us, we're like the only two guys that I can think of. Well, not the only two, I guess, but we're two of the few guys that played football in high school. So we're true football guys through and through that like actually played this. You played in high school, right?
Is this a bit? We're doing a bit right now.
You didn't play in high school?
Football?
You didn't play football?
No, I didn't play football in high school.
You're the football guy and you didn't even fucking play?
Well,
I played 4 years.
Well, you have a college basketball podcast and you barely played that.
I played 4. I was starting quarterback and starting punter.
You were not the starting. First of all, there's no such thing as a
teams.
starting punter, okay?
Starting punter, dude.
And secondly, you were not a starting quarterback, not on a good team anyway. So don't bring all this. I played at West Point High School. I was 6'5", 180. I wasn't going to do anything. I wasn't going to do any good on the football field.
What the fuck? TJ and I have been doing solo shows. I decided.
I don't think you know what solo means. There were two of you.
It's the Mark Titus show. TJ hasn't earned his name onto the show yet. We're working on that.
Why are we yelling?
The Mark Titus show with TJ. I've been doing these solo shows, and then I got to a point where I was like, I need to start having some guests because I'm going crazy talking to myself. So I bring on the football guy to talk about the NFL draft, and then come to find out I should just be talking to myself. I'm the football guy. I should just go back to talking to myself.
So
about this.
Everybody that ever played high school football is eminently more qualified than anybody else. Right, so any Tom, Dick, and Harry that just played ninth string on their JUCO or their junior high school team in fucking Whistle Dick, Arkansas, is more qualified than me.
You and Mina Kimes can get together and text each other about how Jeff Garcia and I are bullies. To you.
That's the closest path to canceled in America right now, going after Mina Kimes. So you have fun on that path, buddy.
All right, well, we'll talk with Brandon Walker, who's watched a lot of football in his life. We'll put it that way.
I am the football guy. I'm the college football guy here. You are the college basketball guy, or at least one of 6, and I am the college football guy.
Why? Okay, my NFL draft question for you. Number one, the draft is on Thursday. Why is this draft so late? Not time-wise. I don't mean like when the time of day it starts. I mean that the Super Bowl was over 2 months ago. The college football playoff, the last college football game took place like, I don't know, almost a year ago at this point, it feels like. Why? Like the NBA does it right. The finals are over. We bang out the draft right away. Why the hell
Did you just go from claiming to be the football guy because you got 7 reps in fucking Indiana high school football to then saying, why do they have the NFL draft in late April? They've had it at this point for the last 3 years, and even before that, they had it in the first weekend of April, so it's always been in April.
That's what I'm saying. Why? Why is that? Why has nobody looked at it and said this is insane? Why don't we do this at a more reasonable time?
You want me to do it? Okay, February, Super Bowl. March belongs to college basketball. Early April, opening day. A nice little spot in the calendar right here. Still in the first couple of rounds of the NHL and NBA. Perfect time for the NFL to take over.
So it's out of respect. It's the perfect time as two sports are starting their playoffs and everyone's getting excited.
I don't know
about
if
those
it's
two
a perfect
sports.
time as a sign of respect, but it's a sign of, hey, we're going to grab a spot on the calendar and it's going to be our. The NFL could grab any day they wanted to in the year.
But that's what I'm saying. Why don't you grab it? They should do the draft like 3 days after the Super Bowl.
Why?
They should do it like that Thursday. The Super Bowl Sunday, the draft is because I don't know. It's like because you wake up on that Monday morning, you're like, damn, what do we have to look forward to? And if the draft started right away, that would be insane.
It's a process. You have to go through the draft process. You have to interview people. You have to have the combine. If you do it 3 days after the Super Bowl, two teams haven't even scouted yet.
What is the process? What process do we need?
We have Senior Bowl in Mobile. We have the draft combine in Indianapolis. We have all myriad of pro days. We have all kind of interviews. They got to give them all kind of tests apparently, including some tests they just made up, like the S2 cognition test. They just made that up this year. There's a lot of things to go on. And finally,
okay, so with that in mind, do you think that the Panthers still don't know what they're doing?
No.
They knew what they were doing like 2 months ago.
I thought they knew what they were doing 2 months ago, but somewhere along the way, I think they switched course. I thought at first, and all the signs were they were going to go C.J. Stroud. Right when they got the pick, C.J. Stroud was the betting favorite. But now it is all flipped to where in the last 2 weeks maybe, Bryce Young is the slam dunk number one overall guy. And I don't know when the Panthers chose that, but that's where we're going.
It was when C.J. Stroud did the S2 cognition.
Yes. And he got a Titus-like score is what I hear. 18%. Now, listen, I don't know what the S2 cognition test entails. I don't know if I'd be good at it. I feel like 18%'s bad at anything.
He did go to Ohio State to play school, Brandon.
I can't think of Can you think of anything in life, and this is a real question, where you could get 18% and it's good? Anything.
18% is good.
I mean, if you're in an election, you get 18%, you got blown out. You're not going to get the office.
I'm trying to think. I don't know this to be true, but I'm trying to think like just sports. Like if you made 18% of your putts, is that good? Like if you one-putted?
No, I don't
think
that
would be bad.
18%
but most
18% of your three-pointers is terrible. 18. If you bat 180, it's terrible.
I'm just picturing like I was picturing like you're standing over like if you're regularly standing over like 25-foot putts and you make 18%.
I think if you made 18% of your 40-footers or longer, that's really good.
Yeah, but you're probably right. If you make 18% of all putts, that's not good at all.
No, because you've got a lot of short putts.
What if you're a pitcher in the old National League and you have you bat 180? That's pretty good.
I don't think that's terrible. Yeah, but that also doesn't exist anymore. The hitting was so bad that we just got rid of it. So yeah, 180 could have been good, but the fact that 180 was good means it has to go away.
If you're like an 18%. I feel like third grade basketball. If you shoot 18% from the field, that's probably pretty good. I don't know.
Yeah. If your third grade team hasn't adjusted the league, like a lot of third grade teams are playing on 8-9 foot rims. But if you're playing on 10-foot rims with regulation free throws, yeah, 18% would be okay. For girls,
I think what happened. I think C.J. Stroud studied for the Wonderlic, and I think he was prepared for the Wonderlic.
Studied for the wrong test.
And he studied for the wrong test. I think this is a classic ACT SAT mix-up where he thought he was stepping into a different test, and then they gave him the S2, and he's like, "What the fuck is this? I wasn't ready for this."
I think it's even more extreme than that. I think he was like studying the playbook of a team, and he just showed up to the S2, and all of his answers were just names of plays for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or something.
Do we have examples of questions of the S2?
I don't know that we have examples of anything. I don't know that we even know what it is. Like, because they have the Wonderlic exists, right? They have the Wonderlic, so I think he took that as well. How many tests are we giving these guys?
I don't. Listen. Cardale Jones had it right when he said, "We're not here to play school. We're here to play football." Everyone made fun of him, but as it turns out, that was the most apt commentary on college sports I think that anyone has ever offered.
No, it's like if you could boil down American college sports to one sentence, Cardale Jones probably nailed it.
Yes, he figured it out, and everyone laughed at him. And now, as more time goes by, everyone's like, "This guy might have actually been a." Weirdly enough, he is the smartest guy that's ever played football.
At what point does Ohio State churning out these guys that bomb these tests? At what point does it become a reflection on the school itself?
I think it reflects greatly on the school. I think we bring these guys in and we say you come here, you play football. That's what you're here for. I think we're cutting edge. I think we cut through the bullshit and we're like,
it's a school.
Yeah, but these guys aren't here for school. They're here to play football. We're not. Some of the students are here. We have Ohio State's a great school. It also has a great football program. You don't have to do both. Pick your lane. And CJ Stroud picked the football lane. I don't need CJ Stroud to like be a chemist. I don't need that. I don't want him to be that.
No, he doesn't have to be a chemist. But
I just want him to. Yeah.
When it comes to tests that are to test your aptitude and how you're going to handle things that happen on a football field, let's shoot for higher than 18%.
We don't know that that's what the test measures. How do we if the test isn't measuring?
Two grown-ass men just sitting here talking about something without Googling it. I don't know what they asked to.
Like, because what if they asked him, like, periodic table questions, and he just wrote down, that's some dumb shit, who cares? Like, wouldn't that make you respect him more?
I would I'd give him 100% for that.
Yeah.
But isn't it funny that
If one of the questions was when did Magellan sail around the world and CJ Stroud wrote down don't care in all caps and underlined it and submitted that as his answer, would you not respect him more?
I would respect it, but I'm
so
worried.
We know that that's not what happened.
I'm worried that he might have wrote down Thomas Jefferson. Like, I'm worried that he wrote down something so incredibly bad that it's basically just an IQ test. That's all it is. A cognitive intelligence. 30 to 45 minute digital evaluation measures your unique cognitive skills with unprecedented precision and accuracy. Here's the thing, though, Titus. Forget C.J. Stroud because I think he's a terrific quarterback. This test, they just dropped this test on us last week. We've never heard of this test with the NFL draft. They just dropped it on us.
They just dropped it on us out of nowhere. I'm with you. They should. We as the viewing public should know about this test before we hear about a kid going 18%.
We should also set rules for our sports leagues, okay? Y'all can have one test. One test. Y'all get to test them one time. If it's a Wonderlic, fine. If it's an S2, fine. But you can't be running these guys through all these tests. They're job interviews. I don't take a test at a job interview. Did you?
I did not. I've never interviewed for a job in my life, and it shows. But based on my performance at the jobs I take.
You've never had one interview for your job?
Well, I mean, I had like a.
You at least had a conversation with Dave Portnoy about this job.
Yeah. We talked to Dave and stuff, but it wasn't. I never. But I always view like interviews as like, yeah, I guess you're right. It is an interview. Yeah, I've interviewed, but I always view interviews as like you're begging for the job.
You're trying for the job, not something like you're going to make an agreement.
I was going with the grind set mentality on Instagram, where actually I was interviewing Dave for my own job at Barstool. You know what I mean? Like, I walked into that room and I was like, I'm interviewing you. You sell me on me working for you.
It seems like he passed. And the thing about working here, it's great. It's fun. You get all the benefits. You get to do all these great things. You get to go to all these great sporting events. It's the best job in the world. Occasionally, our boss will tweet out something real racist, and you have to act like you didn't see it. That's only occasionally. So
just every so often.
Every so often, that's fine. Just once or twice a week. So don't even worry about it.
So these quarterbacks,
we're going to keep that in, TJ. So I'm in the room with TJ right now. TJ is my producer. We're going to keep that in.
I was just going to say that note on the S2 eval, it's such a fraud test that you can't even take it online. You need a specialized laptop or Xbox to take the test. That's what I'm saying.
I think the S2 is actually like
Did you hear what he said?
I did, yeah. You need an Xbox.
A specialized Xbox.
A specialized Xbox. I think the guy sits him down and just plays like Guess Who, and you just like you can, and then he makes interpretations based on their deductive reasoning on how they play Guess Who. And it's like,
he plays Simon Says, and then he says,
he plays Simon Says.
Adjust your tie, and the guy goes like this. I didn't say Simon.
Yeah, and then he just marks it down, and then he sends in the score. I think that's how it works. Let's talk about these four quarterbacks though: Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Will Levis, Anthony Richardson. I don't know who the mock draft expert, who the most reputable guy is. Yeah. It was Mel Kiper our entire life until like all of us kind of hit puberty, and then we looked around and we were like, wait, does Mel Kiper know what the hell he's talking about?
We got a younger one in Todd McShay, and then we
and then it's so here I sit in 2023 when I want to know when I want to go Google mock draft. I don't even know who to go to. I don't know who's reputable, but I will say this, Brandon, in trying to suss out all the mock drafts, I have seen these four guys in all sorts of what I would assume are respectable publications, your CBS's, your Fox, your NBC, whatever, your ESPN's, all four of these guys at one point or another are showing up in top fives of drafts. I think Will Anderson's probably the fifth guy of like that's always popping up in the top five. Otherwise, it's like all over the place. Some of these guys are going late first round in some mocks, whatever. It does feel like Bryce Young's going 1, but then it feels like it's wide open after that. But then the question I have for you is this a trick that football people are pulling where they're trying to get us to watch the draft by saying, well, like The Bachelor does, where like this is the craziest season of The Bachelor ever, this is going to be the craziest draft we've ever seen, or does it actually feel like it's crazy because we have no idea how good these quarterbacks are? Because I do think all these quarterbacks might suck.
I think it's a combination of a couple things. Usually you have at least one Trevor Lawrence type prospect, or usually in the draft you have somebody that can't miss. It's going to go number 1. And in the years you don't, maybe you have 1 or 2 quarterbacks that can be top 10 picks or something like that. Well, this year we don't have Trevor Lawrence in this draft. We don't have LeBron James in this draft. We don't have anybody close. So you got 4 guys who are kind of riding the wave together, and I think almost pushing each other towards the top. Now, you and I both know if you have the number 1 or 2 pick in the draft, you could go out and get a left tackle. You could go out and get a pass rusher. But the car doesn't get out of the driveway until you get a quarterback. Right? If you don't have that locked up and you don't have a franchise guy, you're not going to have a good franchise. So you have to take every swing at getting a franchise quarterback. Sometimes when you go fishing, the pond isn't stocked with the good fish. Sometimes it's stocked with great fish. Do you want to do that breaking news now, or do you want to do it later?
You're kind of in the middle of something there.
Okay. Well, I don't know if he knows it, though.
The Green Bay Packers have traded Aaron Rodgers to the New York Jets.
It is official.
Oh, it's official? I actually did write that down. I was going to ask you when the hell is that happening. So
yeah,
there we go.
So yeah,
we'll just break it.
Well, we'll circle to that in a minute. But as far as these guys go, I think it's been a weird roller coaster because you've seen in the draft process guys ebb and flow. And what's happened to C.J. Stroud in the last 2 weeks has been fascinating to me because it's character assassination. That's kind of what it is. Like, it really is. Like, they're saying this guy is stupid. They're saying this guy is that. They came out with this bizarre, I don't remember who did it, this bizarre, Brady Quinn did it, this bizarre thing about the Mannings. Yep. He no-showed Manning. I don't give a fuck about the Mannings. Who gives a shit about those old pieces of shit? Like,
whoa! I disavow.
Why?
I just don't want the Mannings to see. I don't want the Mannings.
What are the Mannings gonna do?
Hold on. I just don't want you're sitting in front of a graphic that says the Mark Titus Show. They're gonna clip this out and send it out and be like, "Fuck this Mark Titus."
What are the Mannings gonna do?
Your face. I don't know. I like the Mannings.
The oldest, whitest family in America. What are they gonna throw a country club at you or something? Shit. Anyway, so the C.J. Stroud thing has been bizarre because when I looked at these guys coming in the draft, I thought C.J. Stroud was my favorite. I think with a clean pocket, he is almost perfect. Like, if he's got a clean pocket and open receivers, he's making that throw every single time.
Yes.
When you fluster him, okay, it falls apart a little bit, but you can work on that. And Bryce Young, terrific, big arm, makes plays, and has been, Heisman winner, highlight stuffer, all of that. He's just tiny.
He's tiny.
But
he's not going to get any bigger.
But the remarkable thing about this draft is we have those 2 guys. C.J. Stroud has been to 2 playoffs. Bryce Young, who won a Heisman and went to a playoff. We have those 2 guys in this immense body of work, and then you have 2 guys that are along for the ride in Will Levis and Anthony Richardson, who were both objectively average at best, at very best in college. Will Levis was average at best at Kentucky, and Anthony Richardson was, when he was average, that was really stretching it for him. Like, I can't believe these guys are along for the ride with the other 2.
But I think so. From where I'm sitting, I feel like the thought on those 2 guys is that, like you said, if the pond is not stocked with great fish, and we're taking swings on quarterbacks anyway, why not take the massive swing on an Anthony Richardson who he's not great at playing quarterback from what we've seen thus far, but he's great at everything else. And do you need to play quarterback in the NFL?
Well,
I don't know.
I feel almost certain you do. And there's also the Josh Allen.
That was my attempt at a Trent Dilfer.
There's also the. Wait, hold on. Don't put me in here if he's going to be insulting Trent Dilfer. Sorry, my bad. What was I about to say? Because it was going to be.
You're about to say great point, Titus. Because
I wasn't going to say that.
Yeah, you were, because Anthony Richardson is for all the jokes you make about like whether he can actually throw a football to a wide open receiver. The guy is an athletic freak, and he did shatter every measurable at the combine.
He did. He's probably the most athletic quarterback that's ever tested the NFL combine. There's no probably, he is. He's the most athletic quarterback of all time. And there's also the Josh Allen corollary, right? Josh Allen in college was just okay, especially his last year. Like, he's not very good his last year. And he gets to the NFL, and he got drafted ahead of some guys, and people were like, oh, my God, they took this guy? Josh Allen's been phenomenal. Been great. Hasn't won a Super Bowl, but it's hard to win a Super Bowl.
Right.
He's been great. If one of these two guys becomes that, it's worth it, right? And if I were taking a shot, I would probably take a shot on Will Levis before I took a shot on Anthony Richardson.
It doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me. Why? Do you want to say it, or do we all just know why? Do you want to say it out loud, or do you just want everyone to just kind of like just leave it?
I actually do want to say it out loud to fill in the gaps that you're just absolutely
I didn't say
bulldozing in the road right now.
I didn't say. But I mean, like, we all knew you were going to say that. I didn't know if you wanted to explain why or not, or just let it sit.
You're a real. You know, when Dave talked about hiring you, I was like, are we sure about this? And Dave said, no, shut up, you stupid moron. Anyway, I don't like either one of them as prospects. Levis, to me, had a little bit more of the pro-style success in college. Anthony Richardson, a couple of years ago under Dan Mullen, couldn't get on the field. And then this year, Billy Napier, who I think is an awful coach at Florida, when they tried to pass the ball, it was just an outright mistake. When they played Florida State, they ran the ball down the field like 12 straight times, scored a touchdown. As soon as they passed, they turned it over, they made mistakes. Will Levis has shown more with his arm and with pro-style offense than Anthony Richardson has. That being said, I understand how appealing Anthony Richardson's skill set or athleticism is.
I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
No, you were no. You weren't playing devil's advocate. You were calling me a racist.
I didn't. What the fuck, dude? I was talking about Will Levis having played in the Big Ten and the SEC and having seen like both great levels of
yes, that's what you were
football,
talking about.
Whereas Anthony Richardson hasn't. He has more experience.
No, let's flesh that out real quick. I want you to explain why I thought Will Levis would be a safer pick than Anthony Richardson.
Because he played at Penn State. He's seen like big, high major college football at Penn State. He's seen like being an underdog. He's had the chip on his shoulder at Kentucky. He's just like ran the gamut of college football. Where he's had big expectations placed on his shoulders. He's had,
Did you
he's
watch?
gone to Kentucky where not a lot was expected. Then a lot was expected this year.
Yeah.
And Kentucky was kind of disappointed. I just felt like Will Levis has had more thrown in. I thought that's what you were going to say.
He was.
But you didn't.
He was very disappointing this year. I never really thought he would be very good in college. His first year at Kentucky, he had 8 SEC games. He threw for more than 200 yards once. Like, that's really, really bad. Like, if you're a first-round pick, you got to be able to throw for yards against these offenses. But Anthony Richardson never showed it. He never showed an accurate arm.
Yeah. But okay, so if I was playing devil's advocate about Anthony Richardson, and I don't know if I am, I just like playing devil's advocate, especially with you.
You should say devil's advocate about 3 more times.
So the knock on Ohio State guys, and I do want to talk about that, by the way, with CJ Stroud. Don't ever draft Ohio State quarterbacks because when they're in college, they are surrounded by the best offensive linemen, the best receivers. They're throwing to wide open guys. They have schemes that are better than and once they get to the NFL and there's not as much separation, they can't now hit guys unless they're wide open and they suck. And that's the reason you should never draft Ohio State guys, because basically the argument boils down to they're too good. They're so good in college. Like, Ohio State is so good in college that we can't actually get a good read on these guys. Is the opposite true of Anthony Richardson? Because as you said, if Billy Napier sucks as a coach and that their passing attack was dog shit and a mess and all that sort of thing, can't you talk yourself into like draft the guy who's this happens in basketball all the time, where you draft the athletic freak and you as like a GM or a coach, you have the ego and you say, I'm going to draft the athletic freak because I can't teach Peyton Manning to be an athletic freak, but I could maybe teach Anthony Richardson how to throw a football. It doesn't work that way. But for some reason, guys do that with basketball too. Where you're like, this guy can't shoot, but once I get a hold of him, I will teach him how to shoot threes, and I'll make him.
Well, the only problem here with that, and it's fine comparison. In the NBA, if you draft a young athletic freak, you're usually drafting a 19 to 20-year-old, and you've got 3 or 4 years. You got 3 years, you can turn him into whatever you want to turn him into. If you want to turn him into a 3-and-D guy, you can put the effort into that. With a first round, with a top 5 NFL draft pick, he's got to be good almost immediately.
Right away.
You you can't dick around if you're a first-round draft pick. Now, if they were picking him in the third round, yeah, bring him along as a backup. Teach him your system. Do what you got to do. This guy's the face of the franchise on Thursday night. On Thursday night, he will be the face of somebody's franchise, and you don't wait for faces of franchise. So you have to decide, all right, I'm probably going to eat it for at least half a season with this guy. If the second half of the season I can get him turned around, but he's never had either the coaching or the ability in college to show you that it's there.
That's a good point, Brandon. Put that on the scoreboard. What's the score now, TJ? The good point scoreboard is. I have it as like 5-1. Yeah, I have it as 5-1. But you're on the board, so good job, Brandon.
Hold on,
CJ.
Hold on. How did I dig myself into a hole? By the way, with you back there cackling like a little cheerleader the whole time it was happening. Yeah, I start off in the hole and see if I can't dig my way out.
Last thing on these quarterbacks is you're a Buckeye fan, as we know. Thank you for wearing Buckeye colors on my show. I appreciate that. Where do you fall in the? I'm very triggered by it, obviously, because it's more personal to me being an Ohio State grad. But the idea that Ohio State quarterbacks just simply cannot succeed in the NFL, and you should never draft. Just in general, forget the Ohio State part of it. Just in general, the idea of drafting the helmet.
Well, there's a lot of.
Does this make sense to you or no?
There's several misconceptions here. First of all, if you're continually putting guys in the draft conversation, you're a hell of a quarterback producing college, right? You're not having this conversation about NC State, Wake Forest. You're not having this conversation about Colorado. You're not having this conversation about even like UCLA. You're not. Like if you're continually putting guys in first-round conversation, you are one hell of a quarterback producing college, because it's really hard to produce an NFL quarterback. And I think the conversation with Ohio State is nuanced because it ought to be broken up over two different planes, right? Like they've had quarterbacks that were never even designed to be NFL quarterbacks.
Exactly.
Terrell Pryor was never designed to be an NFL quarterback. Braxton Miller never designed to be an NFL quarterback. I think JT
Barrett.
JT Barrett, Cardell Jones, they gave it a shot, but those are different kinds of players from what they've got now with this five-wide offense with the best receivers in the country. They're now producing NFL-ready guys based on the offense that they run. Justin Fields ran an NFL offense, and C.J. Stroud has run an NFL offense from the day he got there. So it's a different conversation. If you want to go back 20 years to tell the story of Ohio State quarterbacks, I think you're lying about what your real motivations are here. See, that was very fair.
Who was drafting Craig Krenzel saying this guy is going to be a franchise-changing guy?
And nobody drafted Troy Smith.
It
was always understood. Really, the first one I remember that really could have got drafted high, and then the tattoo thing. Like Terrell Pryor was a huge recruit, a huge big deal, and he turned into a receiver in the NFL. But otherwise, you're talking about run-first guys they taught to pass in college. Like J.T. Barrett, like Braxton Miller. And only now, really over the last 5 to 6 years, have they been like focused on, all right, this is – because college and pro offenses have kind of met in the middle, right? They've kind of meshed a little bit, and they're a lot closer together than they were 15 years ago. So now I think once Justin Fields and C.J. Stroud have 5 years in the league, come back. If they fail, we can have that conversation.
Thank you, Brandon. Put another point on the board, TJ, for Brandon. He's on fire
When did you get your points?
What you
you said you had 5 points. When did you get your 5 points?
I got them in Brownsburg High School football locker room when I played the game, Brandon. They handed me 5 points.
And you just walked into the show today with 5 points?
On the show. Yeah, I start with 5 points. So I understand all the criticisms about the Ohio State quarterbacks. Like, I don't necessarily I'm not going to pretend like Ohio State has produced like an awesome quarterback. I think Justin Fields is going to be awesome, and I think the haters are going to be in shambles here in a few years. But whatever.
Hold on. Name me the great Alabama quarterbacks in the league.
Exactly.
Name me the great USC quarterbacks in the league. Name me the great Clemson quarterbacks in the league. Obviously, Deshaun Watson got into this thing, and Trevor's going to be good, but it's not like any of these other colleges have 20 years of producing epics.
The other thing that drives me crazy is Ohio State has had 4 before. C.J. Stroud will be number 5. 4 first-round quarterbacks ever in the history of the program. 4. Don Scott was drafted in World War II. He literally didn't play in the NFL. He went to the war and died in the war before he even played a snap of football.
Well, that was a mistake. He should
in the
have done
NFL. Yeah, he should not. Art Schlichter was addicted to gambling and was suspended.
Are you pro or anti-war?
I'm anti-war.
Okay. All right.
My stance on it is give peace a chance. I think you give peace a chance and you'll be surprised at what you find.
That's all we're saying.
Yeah. Number 3 was Dwayne Haskins, who tragically lost his life. And, he didn't have a great start to his career, but he also died at 24. And I'm not saying he would have, salvaged his career on the back half, but, I don't know, the guy died before he was even freaking 25.
He never got a chance. I mean, guys like Geno Smith came back 5 years later and had a great career, so...
And then Justin Fields is the 4th. Those are the 4 guys. We have Justin Fields, who the jury's still out, even though everyone pretends he sucks. Literally set records last year, and I think he's going to be awesome. But whatever, jury's still out. You can't decide on him. The other 3, we have a guy who was addicted to gambling, was suspended for it, and 2 guys who died before they were 25. Those are the quarterbacks you're talking about as being bust.
I got to be honest. If I'm an Ohio State quarterback, I'm thinking about not wanting to get drafted in the first round.
Yeah, that's bad.
Because it might be.
I think I made a worse argument. I think I just made it worse.
Boy, this thing's a lot worse than we thought.
They're not bad. They just died, Brandon.
Right. You're not going to be a bust. You're just going to be dead. You're
just going to pass away. Speaking of I don't know, bad segue.
Hold on. Before we move on. I don't know if you're leaving the draft. Those 4 quarterbacks, 1 through 4, give them to me.
How I see it?
Yeah.
I actually don't like CJ Stroud that much because I know him too well. I could do 3-hour podcasts on just CJ Stroud because I very much identify the talent. I think he is an insane passer of the football.
Yeah.
Everything you said, when he sits in a clean pocket, the ball will be you couldn't walk it down the field and place it into a receiver's hands better than he could throw it.
Right.
I love everything about his physical tools. I do think that there is some truth to the whole having the dog in him argument that people make, where it's become a meme and people roll. He has zero heart whatsoever.
There's a little bit of a toughness problem. Yeah,
there is absolutely a problem, and it's coming on the heels of him of Justin Fields having the exact opposite issue when he was at Ohio State. Not even an issue. I shouldn't even put it that way. But if you're a Buckeye fan and you watch Justin Fields play, you would run through a brick wall for the man. You would do I would rather watch Justin Fields lose some games than watch CJ Stroud win some games. I'll put it that way. Because when Justin Fields throws an interception, it feels like whether he does it or not, and perception is reality, so it doesn't matter if it's fact. My feelings matter more than the facts, Brandon.
Sure.
When Justin Fields would throw an interception, it felt like he would cut his dick off if he had to clothesline the guy who picked him off. He would chase him. When CJ Stroud would throw a pick, he just kind of mopes to the sideline, just kind of sits there damn, that's a bummer. I'll get him next time. And that I understand, making that argument makes you sound insane. It makes you sound like a boomer.
Yeah.
But I swear to God, if you've watched Ohio State football, it is night and day difference between how Justin Fields approached the game of football and how CJ Stroud approached it. So I don't think I think Justin Fields is going to be a better NFL quarterback because I think Justin Fields will just will his way to figure out how the fuck to be successful. And CJ Stroud will face adversity and he'll just kind of mope and keep doing what he does.
So I think I go Bryce 1, but CJ Stroud very close behind him as 2. Will Levis a distant 3rd, and then Richardson 4th. If you'll notice, I had Levis 3rd, and then I had Bryce Young and CJ Stroud ahead of him.
I would do Bryce 1. I still think you have to do Stroud 2nd because I think it's a massive gap though.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it is. I don't know. I think I'll do this. Give me Caleb Williams and Drake May 1 and 2.
Well, that's an interesting thing, right? If I'm I don't know, I know the Texans are going to pick a quarterback, right? But has a conversation ever happened where they're like, hey, you know what? We could take one of these 4 guys, or look what's coming next year. Caleb Williams is coming next year. Drake May's coming next year. Two big time guys.
Okay, so hear me out. If you're the Panthers, you got Drake May down the road at Chapel Hill. You know he's coming down the pike next year.
Yeah.
Why take Bryce Young? They're going to take Bryce Young. We know that, but I'm just having some fun here. We're just goofing. We're just goofing now, Brandon. Why not take a massive swing or trade the pick, trade down something? Take the massive swing on Anthony Richardson. Give him a year to see what he's got. If he sucks ass like he did at Florida and you're bad again,
Because
Get Drake May next year.
When it's your turn,
and if he doesn't, then guess what? You just got you got your new Cam Newton.
When it's your turn at the buffet, you got to put the most delicious looking food on the plate. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm going to eat this dry ass cornbread and hopefully they'll bring out some chicken in a minute." No, you got to get the best. You don't go up there saying, "I'm going to stay hungry for a year and then hopefully get full next year." You got to eat when you can eat, right? Yes. My metaphor involves food.
Fishing, fishing, and buffets.
Yes. I don't know if you can tell, but my metaphor ability is basically just me being me. It all comes from where I'm at.
Yeah. What part of the country are you from again? With the buffet and the fishing talk and the
the most beautiful God's country.
Quick break to talk about our friends at Gametime, the exclusive ticketing partner of Barstool Sports, created by fans for fans. Gametime is the ticketing app that makes it easier than ever to score last-minute deals on tickets to sports, concerts, and shows, and they guarantee the lowest price. I am excited to use Gametime because the stars align for me personally. I just recently learned that I will be in Boulder, Colorado around July 4th, which I think this is correct. Blink-182 will be in Denver at the same time that Dead & Co. will be at Folsom Field in Boulder. And I am going to just abuse my Gametime app, trying to get to both concerts somehow. I think Dead & Co. is going to do a few days. So I don't know how many days Blink is doing in Denver. But Blink-182 at Coachella, they're back. I'm fired up. I'm a kid that grew up on Blink-182, so of course I'm fired up about them. But then Dead & Co. is going to be there too. This is going to be awesome. I suddenly got very excited for July 4th in Boulder because holy hell, that is going to be a fun week of concerts, and it's going to be possible with the Gametime app. The biggest last-minute price drops can be found on the seats you thought you could never buy. The purchase process takes just 2 taps and 10 seconds, and once you buy your tickets, they're delivered directly to your phone. No printer needed. The app also allows you to easily share tickets with friends via text, so you can get into the game seamlessly. Skip the hassle and enjoy the moment. Download the Gametime app or go to the website, enter your email, and redeem code Titus for $20 off your first purchase. Term supply. Actually, I just looked it up. Yeah, you're from the South because I see your top 10 college football coaches list. And
this really got to you, huh?
Dabo?
Stop doing that.
Dabo?
His name is...
At 4?
Dabo. It's Dabo. It's not
Dabo?
Dabo.
Dabo Sweeney?
Dabo Sweeney is 4. Yeah, I got him 4. Now,
Dabo, everybody knows Dabo's a dead bitch, first of all. Justin Fields killed him on New Year's Day.
Wait, are you mad that I had him too high or too low?
That he's on the list at all. He's a dead bitch.
What?
Justin Fields killed him. His carcass is still in the Superdome.
Okay, all right. I thought you were
laying there. You can go there right now. Get in your car and drive to New Orleans. Go to the Superdome. Ask him to see Dabo.
We've already got a dumb Southerner in New Orleans. Okay, I don't. Oh, and me and you could have that conversation on this show too if you want. You son of a bitch. Anyway. Dabo is 4. All right, here's my list. And these are college football coaches for 2023. Not of all time, but 2023. Because Nick Saban's the greatest coach of all time. But is he the best coach right now? No, he's not. Kirby Smart is number 1 right now. He has won the last 2 national titles. He's going to be favored to win a 3rd. That's the number 1 coach in America right now. Sorry. He's 1.
Okay.
Saban's 2. This one hurt, but Harbaugh's 3. Why
is Harbaugh 3? Harbaugh. I'm not saying Ryan Day should be above him.
If you look at everybody behind him, okay, it took, and this is a right now list, right? It took Harbaugh more years to get it going than I would have liked than he would have liked, but they're going now. They've been to the playoff 2 years in a row. They've won the Big Ten 2 years in a row. They beat Ohio State 2 years in a row, and they're going to be better than Ohio State on paper going into this season. So. Yeah, when you look at Dabo, who's been 9-2 and 10-3 the last couple of years, when you look at everybody behind, Lincoln Riley had a chance but didn't quite get there. Harbaugh settles in right here. He didn't win a playoff game, but he's been to 2 straight playoffs, and that's a very rare accomplishment. And frankly, Michigan, it's the biggest accomplishment Michigan's had in over a quarter century. Okay,
so going to 2 straight playoffs and winning 2 straight Big Ten championships is in your mind.
It's a right now list, right? So Dabo's 4. Dabo has 2 national titles, but the last 2 years he's missed the playoff, and it looks like they're falling off of that elite mountain.
No, I'm just trying to understand. So Jim Harbaugh, you said to go to.
Well, let me say the rest of the list, and then you react to it. Okay?
Go ahead. Okay.
All right. Harbaugh's 3. Dabo was 4. I've got Kyle Whittingham, Utah 5. I have Lincoln Riley, USC 6. I have Luke Fickell, Wisconsin 7. I have John.
Go ahead. Sorry, I thought this was the comedy part of the list. Go ahead. I didn't know you're still serious. I thought. Sorry. No, I mean, you're a funny guy, Brandon. I thought you were trying to slip in some jokes.
Josh Heupel, Tennessee is 8. Ryan Day, Ohio State is 9, and then Lance Leipold, Kansas is 10. Now, what do you think about it?
Okay, so Dabo's the one that just stood out to me. Dabo's a dead bitch, and I think
Dabo won 2 national titles at Clemson. Dabo stared down Saban
right
twice.
Now, it is
right now. It is right now, but he even in his down years.
How was Ryan Day 9? And you're talking to a guy who fired Ryan Day. I wanted Ryan Day fired
because
after the Michigan debacle.
Ryan Day hasn't improved Ohio State's standing 1 inch, 1 centimeter. He hasn't done anything. All he did was inherit a really fast car, and all he's done is keep it on the road. He hasn't made it go faster. He just has kept it on the road.
So theoretically, if Ryan Day inherited a team that went 12-1 the year before he took over at Ohio State, and then he went 6-7 in his 1 year as interim head coach at Ohio State, and then the year after he was interim, the head coach went 12-0, you would say that Ryan Day is terrible and doesn't belong on your list if he went 6-7? Because I'm looking at it, Luke Fickell is number 7 above Ryan Day, and Luke Fickell went 6-7. To your point, Brandon, taking over Ohio State, you should just be able to step in.
Right now, Titus. Right now, Luke Fickell went to a playoff at Cincinnati. A 4-team playoff. He took the Cincinnati Bearcats. This is a country club that's exclusive. Only Georgia, only Clemson, only Alabama, only LSU's of the world get into the playoff. He got there at Cincinnati, and then
how was Sonny Dykes not on the list?
His next year, because Sonny Dykes was a fluke. Sonny Dykes won a bunch of close-ass games. Sonny Dykes was really a 7-5 coach last year that lucked his way to 12-0. And frankly, when Cincinnati got there, they didn't embarrass themselves. They competed against Alabama just fine.
Sonny Dykes didn't embarrass himself. He beat Michigan. He lost in the title game. Yeah,
65-7.
So it would have been. You think it would have been better for Sonny Dykes in your mind would be a better coach had he lost by 3 touchdowns to Michigan?
I think
and not even made the title game.
I think the game you're referencing.
You're insane. This is why I'm the college football. You know what?
I think the game that you're referencing.
Write this down. We need to make this a college football show.
I think the game you're referencing is actually a bigger indictment on Harbaugh than it is a praise of Dykes. The fact that Harbaugh got to the playoff twice and then lost to that TCU team is fucking embarrassing. And he's number 3
on your coaching list.
But look at the list. There's nobody else with that big of accomplishments right now. Kirby has wrecked the game.
If you're talking about past accomplishments, Ryan Day, who again I personally fired him.
Ryan Day. Look at the list.
He won 2 straight Big Ten championships and made 2 playoffs, which Jim Harbaugh did, and suddenly to you, Jim Harbaugh is one of the best coaches in the country. But Ryan Day does it, and you don't care.
He built them, and Utah's one of the best teams in the Pac-12 every year, and it's Utah. Lincoln Riley went to USC, and 5 minutes later they were a contender. Okay,
right.
Ryan Day inherited one of the best teams in the country, one of the best recruiting organizations in the country, and they are the exact same team today that they were when he inherited it. And the second he wins a national title, and if that kick had beaten Georgia last year, different conversation. But it didn't.
So because the kick didn't go in, Ryan Day's a worse coach.
Well, let me tell you this, Titus.
Did you say that out loud?
No, I'm going to say it even clearer because they got to the 50-yard line or the 40-yard line with about 40 seconds left, and then Ryan Day's mediocre ass took the air out of the balloon and settled for a 50-yard kick when they could have got a 25-yard kick.
Now you're making sense.
And that,
now you've won me back.
And that is correct. So don't tell me, Ryan Day this, Ryan Day that. I got him top 10. I got him number 9. And
dude, I don't even like Ryan Day that much. I just like rationality. That's all. I just don't like lists that make no sense.
You tell me a reason to put Ryan Day over Dabo Swinney right now.
Because he beat his ass. Dabo's a dead bitch.
Dabo beat his ass.
First of all, no, he didn't. First of all,
yes, he did.
That was the fucking South versus Ohio classic, like fucking ref show. The SEC refs.
Poor little impoverished Ohio. Poor little Ohio getting taken advantage of by those mean old bastards down south. I wish we'd fight the war again. I'd go straight for you.
The whole state of Ohio beat the South. Literally the state of Ohio. Ulysses S. Grant, Richard Sherman set your whole goddamn
Richard Sherman played defensive back for Stanford, all right? You're talking about William Tecumseh Sherman, you dumb fuck. Give me a point just for him saying that.
Point for Brandon, damn it.
Jesus Christ. Richard Sherman marched across the South and burned Atlanta to the ground. All right. It is a funny visual if you think about it, but it didn't happen historically accurately like that.
I got ahead of myself.
Yeah. What do you mean you got ahead of yourself? You were going to tell me about Richard Sherman later?
I was going to. No, I was trying to explain to you that everyone knows the first Dabo Ryan Day matchup was bullshit, and Dabo knew it, which is why when the second matchup was coming around, he said Ohio State was the 11th best team in the country. He knew we were going to beat their ass. Everyone knew we were going to beat their ass, and then we did. We proved we were the better team. I don't understand how that doesn't matter to you. My issue, if you took Dabo's dead ass off this list, I think I'm okay with all of it. I don't even mind Jim Harbaugh being 3 that much, to be honest with you.
Can you just stop saying Dabo? Just say Dabo one time. See how it
You know
feels.
what my real issue was?
What?
Why isn't Deion on the list?
Because Deion,
Are you pro?
Because Deion has proven nothing. Deion is a first-year head coach at this level. He was fantastic at Jackson State. It's a different level. He's going to be in a Pac-12 that's loaded with quarterbacks, loaded with experience this year. Do I think Deion's going to be a good coach at Colorado? Yes, but he has no body of work yet. We'll have to see it.
Okay. I think his body of work is already I thought it was right now. It's right now.
But body of work, he's got 2 years at Jackson State where he did have a great record. But Deion Sanders coaching in Jackson State, Deion Sanders with his connections and his ability to get players, it tilted the playing field. It wasn't a fair fight.
What does he have to do to be successful in Colorado, do you think?
Got to get the guys. He's got to get the players.
No, I mean what does success look like? Because do you think he has to win a national championship? Not just in general. I think Deion Sanders gets fired or leaves Colorado, whether it's 5 years from now, whether it's next year, 10 years.
Being a Pac-12 contender to win that championship, if they're even in that conference, but I think being a conference title contender within year 3 or year 4. I think year 1 is whatever. It could either be halfway decent or it could be really bad because they're just starting. But year 2, he needs to be in a bowl. He needs to be beating a couple teams. And then year 3, you need to start having that. Are we one of the big swinging dicks in the Pac-12? Because if you're not, then the experiment is probably not working.
I think it's already worked. I think he could step down today, and it was already worth the hire. I think Colorado already got what they needed.
Well, I mean, they're one of the biggest programs in the news right now. They've had 15 players enter the transfer portal today. Now, that means one of two things.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Did they really have 15 today?
15 today, which I think I know what that means. I think it's Deion, because after the spring game the other day, he was asked, hey, what about this team? And I think he said something like, the team you saw today isn't the team you're going to see in August. So one of two things happened. Number one, Deion is clearing the deck for all new guys. He is saying, I saw you in the spring, and you ain't it. Get in the transfer portal. Or guys are saying, you know what, fuck you. You told me, you told everybody that I'm not going to be on the team, so I'm out of here. I think it's more, I think Deion's a sharp guy. I think he's a player's guy. I think he's I think he's going to totally revamp that roster because, there's different windows, right? There's right after the season. But it would have been crazy to just deluge Colorado with transfers after the season because Deion hadn't seen Colorado's guys on the field yet. He hadn't at least tried to see what they had. Now, they were 1-11, so you can imagine they were awful. But now, 15 guys in the transfer portal after spring practice.
But I guess that them being 1-11 last year, that's why I think he's already won. I think the fact that you and I are sitting here in April, I have you on my show, and I'm compelled to talk to you about Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes football program is insane. That's insane. There's no world in which I should be talking about Colorado football.
I think the last
on
few
my
years
show right now
in college football have been terrific for the game nationwide as a whole because it has kind of gotten outside of Ohio State and now Michigan, who's made it last couple of years. For a while, it was that southeast bubble, Clemson, Florida State, Alabama, Georgia, and everything was too compressed. But with Lincoln Riley going out west and waking up the West Coast, and then Deion going to Colorado and kind of waking them up, Oregon's stirring a little bit. You got Kalen DeBoer at Washington. The West Coast is waking up in college football, and that's going to make the sport even better.
I agree with you.
Can I get a point?
Yeah, I need a timeout. I want to take a 20 after the Richard Sherman debacle on my end.
Yeah, no, that was just I think you threw a pick six, to be honest.
That was a pick six. I got sped up. That was C.J. Stroud. I
got you out of your game.
I'm in a clean pocket, and then all of a sudden you brought Civil War shit at me. I got flushed. Richard Sherman, goddamn.
And you said it so confidently too.
I really did. I thought I did something there. Can I ask you this? It has nothing to do with football, but I need someone to talk to about it, and you're here. Why did the Oakland A's moving to Las Vegas? Why was I sad about this? I don't care about the Oakland A's. I've never cared about the Oakland A's. I'm a National League guy, so I don't even care about American League.
Can I tell you why?
American League teams by and large. And Oakland's lost a couple teams in the last couple years.
Can I tell you why?
Yeah, I was continuing to set up the background for the listeners that don't know kind of the story.
The reason
and all that
you're
sort of
sad
things.
about the Oakland
But
A's
go
moving
ahead.
to Vegas is you're getting old. You now have in your life 30 to 35 years of history with the Oakland A's. That's all you've ever known is the Oakland A's, and now your life's changing, Titus. You're getting gray. You're getting older. You're starting to get arthritic. When you sit on planes for over an hour, your knees throb. These things happen. And the A's in Vegas is new, and it's scary, and I understand that. But the truth is, the A's probably should have moved out of Oakland a long time ago. Like
What?
listen, do you see how many people go to their games? Do you see?
No. Don't do this. Don't do this. You're not that stupid.
What do you
You're
mean
not
I'm not that stupid? Teams move all the time, Titus.
They move all the time because the owner. Don't do
The
this.
Cleveland
The
Browns
owner-
moved to Baltimore. You know what turned out? It was fine. The Houston Oilers moved to Tennessee. Everything's fine. These things work out.
First of all, baseball teams do not move. In 50 years, there's been one baseball team that's moved. It was the Montreal Expos moving to Washington, which doesn't even count because Montreal, it's a Canadian team moving to our nation's capital. It's the
You
the
say
American
they don't
pastime.
move, and that's fine. But we've had in that 50 years, we've had 12 expansion teams. Like baseball changes all the time.
But they don't move. The baseball teams are the baseball teams. The only one that's moved was like to correct an error, which is that we gave Canada too many teams, so we have to give our nation's capital a team. Like that was, and even then it was Montreal.
All right,
so even Canada was like,
I have a take.
Even Canada was like, that's fine. We don't care about Montreal. So that wasn't a.
I have a
Go
take
ahead.
that's in the form of a question. Okay. Do you know where Oakland ranks as a metropolitan area in population in this country?
Higher than Vegas, probably.
I don't think that's true now. They're 45th. Oakland's the 45th
Okay,
biggest
probably
city.
not higher than Vegas.
Oakland's
then.
the 45th biggest city in the country. They got about 400,000 people.
Okay,
That's
do you
not
know that
that's not a Major League Baseball market anymore. It's just not.
this is the owner playbook that you want to talk about franchises moving. This is the playbook: is when you decide you want to move, you sabotage your team.
Yeah.
You do nothing to help the team whatsoever. They're not even AAA baseball
You're
team. They're
describing
like a
the plot
AA
of
baseball team
you're
right now.
describing the plot of Major League.
Yes, I am, because this is a story we've seen a million times. This is what the A's did. They're a dog shit baseball team. They're not even. It's not even fair to AAA teams to say that they're a AAA level baseball team. They're a AA level baseball team.
I checked on their
They're-
record this morning. They're 4-18.
They're horrendous. They are purposely sabotaging the team, and of course the fans aren't going to come out and support that. And then you point to the crowd, you say there's no one here, and then you blame it on the fans.
You know what's-
the same thing happened to the Columbus Crew. I think maybe this is
here
why
we
I'm
go.
upset about
Here
it.
we fucking go. Let's all bring it
Columbus
back to
Crew tried to-
Columbus.
The Crew tried to move to Austin. The exact same shit happened. They did nothing to improve the stadium
Nobody
whatsoever.
cares about the Crew. They can move
Everybody
tomorrow.
Everybody cares.
I'll send them a U-Haul tomorrow. It'd be fine.
This is an MLS podcast.
You know-
this is what we talk about on this show.
You know what's wild about the A's being 4-18 and them not putting anything in there, and they don't have any fans, and that's a legitimate conversation, right? It is legitimate. It's sad what's happened to the A's. You know, even 10 years ago, they were filling that place up a lot. They had energy. There was a diehard group of A's fans. But if you look at the other side of the league, you know who's 19-3? The Tampa Bay Rays, who also nobody goes to see, who also doesn't have a good stadium, who also isn't in a big-time baseball market.
But they try to field a competitive team.
And they do it so fucking well. Like, they do it in a small payroll, and they're 19-3. It's incredible.
Yeah.
But that's who the
actually
A's
incredible.
used to be in 2002, 2001.
Right.
That's who the A's were.
I think my real issue, as I've thought on it, is I hate that Vegas is getting teams. Like, I hate what's happening to Vegas.
Yeah.
I just hate in general what's happening. Vegas used to be like it was Sin City, and it was like you were a bad boy if you went to Vegas. If you came back from Vegas, you did like a weekend in Vegas, and you came back home, and you're like, so guys, guess where I was this weekend?
Yeah.
I was in Vegas, and then your friends are like, holy shit, dude, whoa!
You went with your friends to a bachelor party, and then Mike Tyson.
Yeah,
was
and you're
there.
like, oh shit.
There was a
and like
tiger.
the saying, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, actually meant something. Like it was like actually like, because some crazy shit probably went down, and it was for the outcasts of society to go have a little playground. It is now Vegas has turned into like adult Disneyland, where it's just so like we need fucking like even the acts that they have in Vegas used to be like your Wayne Newton was like a Vegas act. This is a Vegas
Now
act.
it's Celine
Siegfried and Roy
Dion.
is a Vegas act. Now you have like actual big name act. Like, you know, now we got Taylor Swift playing concerts in Vegas. I'm like, that's not a Vegas act.
But
that's Taylor Swift.
Vegas has been this for like 20 years now.
That's what I'm saying. I just hate what I hate. You're right. I hate like this. I hate what Vegas has become in general, and I hate that like it just continues to become that more and more. I hate that like.
Well, that's what the crowds are going to be. The crowds are going to be the guys sitting on third baseline are going to be guys who were comped by the Bellagio because they rented a room for 3 days.
I want like seedy like the underbellies of society. I want those people to be in Vegas. I want like Jerry Tarkanian. Like sports in Vegas used to be Jerry Tarkanian doing deals with the mob to get recruits. And then somewhere along the line, like it's become very mainstream, and we've allowed the leagues to set up there. I think that's what my real issue is.
Tell you what, nobody's done since Jerry Tarkanian. Nobody took over the gimmick of chewing on a towel during a game or having a towel during a game. I feel like if I'm a basketball coach, I could do the towel thing.
You'd be good at that? You'd be a towel guy?
Why not? I mean, I got the red. If I threw a towel on right now, you'd say that's Jerry Tarkanian. Well, that and cheating to win at basketball immensely.
Yeah. All right. This has gone on long enough. I had a handful of other things I wanted to talk to you about, but
why don't we keep going?
All right, let's keep going.
Do you have time constraints? Does he have time constraints?
No, I thought you did. I was respecting your time.
Well, I don't know what time it is. Brandon Walker works until he can't work anymore. Okay. Can I talk to you? Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
What was your favorite baseball video game growing up?
That's a tough one. I didn't play a ton of baseball video games, I don't think. I mean, I played backyard baseball on the computer.
Is your thing?
That wasn't really.
Oh, I'm sorry. I never played that because I get pussy. Was your video a couple weeks ago about you being excited about the new Zelda game real, or were you just making fun of TJ?
No, it was real. I don't make fun of TJ. TJ's awesome. I love my producer. That's why TJ likes doing my show, and he's my producer.
Well, that's not what your text said.
I appreciate him, and
your text said, "Hey, buddy, let's get the band back together with that asshole Titus today." That's what you said.
No, I'm fired. Zelda's going to be awesome. I don't really fully understand. I'm kind of new to. I didn't play a ton of Zelda games growing up, but when I bought my Switch, I bought the first Zelda game that they made.
Rainmaker,
Breath of the
Wild, yeah.
Breath of the Wild, yeah. That game's insane. So, and then they're
This intrigues me about you.
What?
I'm me and you are the same age. I'm 43. You're 41. But we're close to the same age. I only play sports video games. I don't play sports video games. Why not? You're an athlete.
Because I play sports, Brandon.
NBA players play NBA 2K all the time. NFL players play Madden all the time.
So picture this. It's Friday night. I'm coming back home after throwing for probably like 4 or 5 touchdowns. Probably ran for 80 yards, maybe had another touchdown in there. And also I'm punting, averaging like 42, 43.
Oh, fuck. Were you the starting punter?
I was a starting punter, yeah. The second string guy was not as good as me. Third string actually had a lot of promise, but he was young, and he wasn't ready yet.
It was 11.
So I was... I get done. I probably, my girlfriend and I take her out to dinner after the game, probably park the car in a dark parking lot and, have some fun with her for a little while. And then I go back home. Like, you think I'm going to fire up like Madden to get the thrill of being a football player? I live it. This is who I am.
You've never played professional football to my knowledge. You've never played college football to my knowledge.
I played better than professional football. I played in the Hoosier Crossroads Conference, okay? I went on the road and beat Avon.
You look me in the face right now. And tell me you didn't fire up College Hoops 2K7 or 2K8 on PlayStation 2 just to see what you were like. Tell me you didn't do that.
I did. And if I remember right, I was a 69 overall, which I was very proud of.
All right, that was my question.
No, I used to play. I don't know what it was. Like I played Madden a lot. Madden would probably be the one sports video game, but baseball became. I really think it was that. Like the sports that I played, I didn't have as much fun playing video games, but I love playing FIFA. FIFA was fun. I never played soccer in my life. Yeah. I couldn't dribble a soccer ball to save my life. I'd trip over the soccer ball. But I love playing FIFA and I love watching soccer. So I don't know. That's just the difference between you and I. I was playing the real sports and you were daydreaming of it, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I wasn't.
That is weird. You don't. You only play sports video games. You don't play Mario. You don't play Super Mario Brothers.
So I have a Switch for my kids and all that, and I'll play it every now and then. And I got one machine that has all Nintendo, Super Nintendo games at my house. I'll play it every now and then, but I'll sit and play Super Mario 3 or something, right? I'll play 2 levels and I'm like bored, and then I go find an old sports game. I'll play RBI baseball or something, and I'm happy. I've always played sports games. That's all I care to play.
All right.
I'm not a nerd, okay? I'm an athlete even in video games. I'm an athlete.
Video games.
All right, is that it?
Have you made a statement on your Twitter blue check? By the way, have you made a decision and made an announcement? I've been waiting to see
Titus,
what you're doing.
I've been watching everybody tweet their trials and tribulations. And I've seen you do these things. I've seen Dave, Big Cat.
No, you haven't. You haven't seen me do anything because I'm taking a wait and see approach. I haven't done a damn thing. I'm just like drinking it all in.
Hey, it's okay. It's okay.
Well, you come on my show and you lie to my face. You haven't seen me do anything.
I've seen Dave and Dan and other people do these things. And I am in a rare group that I haven't seen speak up on Twitter. And the group I'm in is I paid for Twitter Blue. I gave them a credit card. I paid for it. And I don't have the check mark. I have everything but the check mark. So as soon as this thing went down, I was like, yeah, I kind of want it. And I paid the $11 a month, and they take the money, but I haven't given me the check mark. So that's the worst group. What? That's the worst group you can be in. You can't get a worse group than that.
Only you.
So yeah, that's where I'm at. I was like, okay, I'd like the check mark, and Elon's like, nah, we're good. Give me your money though. Dipshit.
Oh my god!
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
I'm not giving him a cent. No, I'm not gonna buy her the check mark. Are you serious?
Why not?
I've been trying to get off Twitter for 10 years now. This might be the push I need.
It's $11.
Why would I want, like, you should have to pay me $11 to log into that app. I hate that. I hate Twitter with a passion. I've hated it for 10. This isn't an Elon thing. I've hated Twitter for 10 years. I have my professional goal has been to get to a point where I'm comfortable enough to step away from Twitter, never log on again. That is my dream. That is what it's a young man's game, Brandon. Can you imagine? I'm 35 years old. At some point I'm going to be in my 40s, and if I'm still logging into Twitter in my 40s, just put a bullet in my brain. I cannot imagine being like logging on and mixing it up with like the 17-year-olds that are on there all the time. So that's not for me.
That's one of the dirty secrets about doing this game, right? Like, I have to be on there, but Twitter is just.
I don't think you do have to be on there.
Oh, I do. Twitter's absolutely.
I think you choose to be.
Twitter's the worst. It's just the absolute worst. The fact that that's what we created and that's how we communicate just says a lot about us.
But that's what I'm saying. Is like people like you that are like, I have to do this, and then you're like, you should, Titus, you should be on Twitter.
I'm in the content game. How am I going to get my content out there if I don't have a Twitter following?
Hand it off to Dukes. That's what he does with my show. He just tweets the.
Oh no, I understand how you walk right into this company and we're giving a social guy and we're giving a producer and we're giving all these things. I fucking understand, Titus. I fucking know that I've been in the coal mines for 3 goddamn years trying to build something, and here you come in crossing over and dribbling your little fucking college basketball, and you get everything I ever wanted.
My last question I was going to ask you is. Are you over us having to share a studio yet? But it seems like I know the answer to that.
When are we going to tell people?
I don't think we're ready yet. We got you have to keep doing eye emojis. Just say we have something cooking. Okay, that's all you got to say. Right. Just say.
At some point, somebody smart is going to put together that Mark Titus and Brandon Walker are sharing a studio. Like. No. It seems like somebody could put that together of why they might be doing that.
No.
Eyeball emoji.
Eye emojis.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mine was just 2 white power symbols. My bad. You told me not to do those. My bad.
Just do a. Where are you at the house? Have you closed?
It's rolling. I haven't closed, but I'm rolling along. I've done the inspection and I've done all these things. Everything costs money, man.
So my question is, if we share a studio, do we also? My dream has always been to have Urkel rights with some of my friends. I've never achieved this with any of my friends.
Just walk in the house?
Yeah, and I would like to have... One, do you think like us sharing a studio will lead to me... will help me get Urkel rights with your house, or this will work against my Urkel rights? And the idea in general of you owning a home where someone could have Steve Urkel rights where they just walk into your house... Is that something that interests you, or you're like, I don't want to run that kind of household?
I'm kind of sad here because I hate to give you credit for coming up with a great thing, or I would fucking love somebody in my life that had Urkel rights. I would love to have an Urkel next to me. Now, there are a lot of layers to the Urkel rights thing that if we've got time, we'll delve into them. But number one is, how did nobody in that universe ever go check on his parents, like do a wellness check? Like, something was wrong with that relationship. They were not good parents. They were absentee parents. This was a 14-year-old kid being raised by absolute savages. It's something. But
he was smart. Like, I think it's because he was a smart kid. So they're like, if you're that smart at that age, surely
that. And number two,
whatever's going on is obviously working. So like, let's just leave it be.
Carl Winslow was a police officer who didn't lock his doors.
That's true.
Like, he's seen some shit, man. He's seen what can happen if somebody comes in your house, and he just didn't lock his doors.
I think he was leading by example. I think he was saying to the community, I do such a good job protecting this community that you don't even have to lock your doors. And I believe that so much that I'm going to unlock my doors. And I'm going to let Steve Urkel walk in.
Have I ever told you this take? Well, our relationship goes back about 3 weeks, so I probably haven't. Full House is looked at as like the shining jewel of TGIF, and it got a remake and all that, and Full House lives on as this iconic sitcom. Family Matters was better in every single way. What do you think about that?
I would probably agree, actually. I think back on like plot points and like that I don't remember anything that happened in Full House, and I remember stuff that happened in Family.
Carl Winslow was a better dad than Danny Tanner. Steve Urkel was a better character than anybody in Full House. It's just
Laura. I had the hots for Laura more than I did for any of the women on Full House.
Yeah,
except for Aunt Becky.
Yeah, but that was complicated at the time.
But I probably like when I was a kid, I probably didn't have a thing for Aunt Becky. It's more like as I got older, and then.
Well,
Laura,
I mean, on the remake, Stephanie Tanner's hot. I mean, she's just really hot. I mean, there's just no.
All right, well, let's get out of here.
There's no getting around it. I mean, she's just hot. There's just, even if I don't say it, you can see them on the screen. Like, they're right there. They're punching you in the face. 1-2. So what am I going to do?
We are walking a very dangerous line here of this turning into the Brandon Walker Show. And as you can see on the graphic behind you, this is the Mark Titus Show.
Buddy,
so, I'm going to pull the plug on this now.
This was the Brandon Walker Show the moment I sat down.
Shut up, dude. I am excited to receive another wave of texts from friends and family. They're like, "Who the fuck is this Brandon guy you keep having on your show?"
One last thing before I go.
First time
One last
you came
thing
on.
before
What?
I go. When we get to Chicago, will your home studio background not look so pathetic? Will it actually look like you put a little effort into it?
I am going to have. I'm only going to put one thing behind me in our studio.
Picture of me and you.
Nope, one picture, and it's me on the front page of the Indianapolis Star with my hands in the air celebrating the win over Avon my senior year when I was the starting quarterback for my high school football team, and we beat our rival, who was ranked. I think they were ranked 4th in the state. And we beat them, and I was on the cover of the Indianapolis Star. I'll probably put that picture.
The guy's doing his Al Bundy transformation in front of our face. This was fun. Thank you.
Brandon, thank you. We'll do it again. Eyeball emojis coming soon. Be on the lookout. Tired of being soft when you should be hard? 40% of men suffer from hormonal imbalances and low testosterone, and no one's willing to talk about it. The average male testosterone level has decreased by 26% over the past 3 decades. The situation is that you have a bunch of guys that are depressed, they don't have energy, they can't focus, they are gaining weight faster, their libido is gone. But Elevated by Astroflav is here, and it is an all-natural testosterone booster containing 2 powerful ingredients, Fedosia agrestis and Tongkat Ali. This combination in Elevated has shown results of 250-point increase in total testosterone, but can be anywhere between 200 to 400-point increase. Increased testosterone levels means increases in energy, improvements in libido, reduction in stress levels while building muscle and burning fat. Elevated by Astroflav has over 500,000 bottles sold to men with amazing results. Get a free 2-week trial of Elevated, available at astroflav.com/barstool. Just pay shipping. All right, before we wrap this thing up and get some shout outs, I can't believe I said Richard Sherman, TJ. That's going to haunt me for the rest of my days, I think. I can't believe I what happened was, what had happened, my mouth was moving a lot faster in my brain, and I got flustered. Brandon, it's the old saying that my dad used to love saying all the time about how you don't want to wrestle with a pig because a pig will bring it down to the mud and he likes it, and you're both going to get dirty and he likes it. I obviously just butchered it, but don't wrestle with a pig because you'll both get dirty and he likes it, is what my dad used to say. You know, that is what Brandon did to me. He pulled me down into the mud. My mouth was talking faster than my brain, and I have to own that. I said Richard Sherman stormed through the South and set Atlanta on fire.
Was that before or after the Aaron Andrews interview? Well, I'm the best quarterback in the game.
I'm the best. Yeah, right. That's what it was. I thought that was the same. Where I was taught, public school in Indiana, we were taught that was the same kind of timeline. Was when Richard Sherman, Richard Sherman on his podcast was recapping how he won the Civil War. Anyway, that one sucks. I hate giving Brandon ammo. That's just like the worst. That's the worst part about it. I think if I did that to anybody else, if I had a brain fart like that with anybody else, it doesn't sting as much. But that was bad. That was really, really bad. So anyway, I just wanted to get that off my chest, and we'll bounce back. We'll bounce back. We'll be fine. Do you have any shout outs?
Yeah. You see Josh Hart's hair? That was sick.
What happened?
He had his braids in the Yankee logo.
Oh, really? I didn't see that. I didn't pay enough attention to that. That's awesome.
The Garden looks like it's rocking. I want to get to a game just to be a part of it. But
shout out to the Garden.
Hart. Yeah, they're embracing it. The Side Talk guys were out there with their cameras afterwards. I think Big Cat got caught in one of those clips, but they didn't post it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he walked down to a crowd and said, "I don't give a fuck about the Knicks, but my bet just hit," and then the whole crowd went crazy.
Yeah, Madison Square Garden has been awesome. The part of me that's from Middle America wants to crap on LA and New York and their crowds for like Lakers fans and Knicks fans think that they have cooler playoff atmospheres than anyone else, and it pains me, but I have to report what my eyeballs are seeing, TJ. They're better. Like when Staples or whatever the hell they call it now, crypto. Are they still call it crypto, or is that still going on?
I guess, yeah.
when that place is rocking, Madison Square Garden's obviously way better than Crypto Arena. But those two crowds it's just two fan bases that, like, first of all, the tickets are outrageous. So I think if you're paying that much money to go to the game, you want to get your money's worth and you want to just act a fool cheering on your team. But it's just two fan bases that have seen so much shit through the years that they just, I don't know, they figured it out. It's two cities that know how to put on a show. But Madison Square Garden is very much number one. Then there's a huge gap, and then crypto.com or whatever. But the Staples Center, whatever it's called, was absolutely rocking tonight too. But yeah, Madison Square Garden, I want to get to a playoff game there too now. Like that place is incredible. I don't know how
really is. Just like a lot of people try to argue like what teams mean the most to fans in each city, and I think with New York, it's just like the Knicks have been so bad, and their stadium is dead center in the middle of the city. That if this is the reaction when they take leads in like the first series,
right?
I don't even want to know what the fans are capable of if the Knicks were to win a championship.
Right.
It would be like Philly when the Eagles won, like chaos in the streets, cars being flipped over, buildings on fire.
You're absolutely right. I do think Madison Square Garden being in the heart of the city does play a big part into the, like, as you're getting out, like people take the subway in and you're walking on, there's like a buzz around the city as you're going into the arena, and God, it's so cool. It's so cool. That's what I can't believe, like that's where I found myself, is like I'm cheering for the Lakers and Knicks, which is disgusting, but that's, I never thought I would like want to see New York and LA teams succeed in my life, but like I don't know how I got here. Here I am, and I'm watching these two games, and I'm cheering for the LA and the New York teams. So there you have it. Jalen Brunson's been incredible too. He's so perfect for that fan base, and yeah, we got to get you to a game. Go to a game and report back for the show.
I'm ready. I'm ready to become a bandwagon fan. I don't care.
Tell Barstool to we gotta get this hooked up. It's for work. It's for work.
Yeah.
Quote unquote, you know? Let's get you to a game for work.
And then the only other thing I had was last week I mentioned that Mackenzie Mbako decommitted from Duke.
Yeah.
He's a Jersey guy, and I started to sort of rally the troops towards getting him to come to Rutgers.
Yeah.
We're now in the conversation officially.
Oh shit! Is there a graphic? What? Explain that.
Rumors swirling around the AAU scene, saying that we're heavily involved. It's like St. John's is involved, Memphis, North Carolina, and then we all of a sudden over the weekend are now involved. Not only that, NJ Hoop Recruit on Instagram posted an article about it, and he commented eyeball emojis.
Whoa! How many? Just one?
2. So,
wow.
I'm not saying I had it first, but
as first reported on the Mark Titus show. No, that would be insane. That would be awesome.
Insane. It would be insane if we flipped a 5-star.
We need a
month before he graduates.
We need a rundown of all the different levels of because right now we're at the rumors are swirling stage. I think when we get Rutgers on an official graphic as like respect my decision, these are my final whatever, then it's very real. What
I've heard is that he's not doing that. I heard that he's doing
there will be no graphic.
He's doing secret visits, he's doing secret meetings. There's nothing being publicized anywhere. It's just going to come out one day that here's where I'm going. Or I'm not going anywhere. He could be going pro.
Are these actual secret meetings, or are these secret meetings like Hunter Dickinson's meetings are secret and he's keeping it very secret, and yet Hunter Dickinson has now visited every... Did you know this? Hunter Dickinson has visited every single Division I college at this point, and has been spotted at all of them, and is... Hunter Dickinson's going to wait till November to announce where he's going, I think. He just loves... That actually might be genius. I might have to tip my cap and respect the hustle here, that he is just going to get the bag from every single school and just keep collecting checks, making promises that are not legally binding because he's not signing any contracts. He's just like, yeah, I'll take your cash. Yeah,
just do it like a WWE reveal. Like, don't say anything until opening day, and it's like you have to watch every game to see where he comes out.
Yeah, just every every fan base is staring at their tunnel, just waiting for Hunter Dickinson to bust out for the opening night warm-ups. Is he going to come out wear their uniform to warm up? No, that's pretty... speaking of crazy...
he comes out with a split jersey on wherever he comes out. It's like, you don't know if he's going
You still don't know which team he's going to play for. Speaking of crazy transfer news, Ryan Nembhard to Gonzaga, not Arizona, as everyone thought. That's pretty shocking. I thought that was, especially when Kirk Kriisa transferred from Arizona, it was like, all right, well, this is pretty obvious. I mean, nothing's been more obvious, really, that Nembhard's going to Arizona to play for Tommy Lloyd. Not the case. He followed his brother's footsteps, as we all thought, but not to Tommy Lloyd, rather to Gonzaga. Tommy Lloyd is suddenly... interesting vibes in Tucson right now is all I'll say, because Tommy Lloyd is giving off some big time Ryan Day vibes right now with what's going on in Arizona, where it's like he's winning a ton of basketball games. He's very, very smart, very sophisticated with his approach. He's an offensive genius. The parallel is actually pretty perfect. He's off to a great 2-year start. Everyone's loving what they're seeing. And yet there's something missing. And there's like something, and like the fan base is like weirdly, they're not saying we don't like this guy. It's just like, how do we not get Ryan Nembhard?
Yeah,
it's like, how do we not get Ryan? How do we lose to Princeton? How do we not get, like, what's going on here? Like, this doesn't make a ton of sense. I'm a little confused. It's just, it's a weird, it's not time to make any decisions. We're not saying hot seat by any stretch of the imagination. We're not saying we don't even like him. He's obviously a great coach. It's just like, if he's a great coach, why did we not get Ryan Nembhard, and why did we lose to Princeton? Like, why did these things happen? So yeah, that's going to be interesting to watch. Why did Kirk Kriisa leave? Because I think that every Arizona fan was like I was when Kirk Kriisa left. You're thinking to yourself, he's not the best point guard in the country, but he's our guy, you know. And I think like a lot of Arizona people were comfortable with going down with that ship at times, where you're like, he can shoot us out of games, he can throw the ball all over the place, but damn it, he's our guy, and we'll go down with him. And when he leaves, you're like, all right, well, the only way I can live with this is if the guy you're bringing in is definitively better than him. And then Ryan Nembhard's like, I'm going to transfer from Creighton, and you think, perfect, done, let's do it, let's get him in, and I will no longer be upset that Kirk Kriisa left. And now here we are. So I don't know, something to monitor, situation to monitor. I think the only other shout out I had was Kawhi Leonard, which I mentioned earlier. So we can not really shout that out, but it's just sad. I'm just sad. Kawhi makes me sad. He just like I now understand why Kawhi has been monotone and sad his whole life, and he just like looks emotionless, and it's because he knew what none of us knew the whole time, which is that his knees are made of jelly, and like he's just, I don't know. I think I wanted to rip on Kawhi for all the load management stuff, but now I've reached a point where it's just sad, and I think maybe it was right in front of our faces the whole time. I guess he's not really like he was load managing because he has horrendous knees. But this series would have been incredible, TJ.
Yeah.
This was the series I was like most excited about was Suns Clippers. It was going to be awesome. And now no Kawhi, no Paul George, which like in some ways it's like this shouldn't be a surprise. This is kind of who these guys have been. But I don't know. That's what the modern NBA has done to me. Is like I don't care how hurt you've been. Like obviously you weren't that hurt, and when the playoffs come, you're going to be able to play. I don't think Kawhi is load managed. I don't think this is a Zion situation that we're seeing. We're like or like a Ben Simmons right now. I don't think Kawhi is like 100%, but he's a little nervous to get out there or anything like that. I think he's just got horrendous knees. I think this is just who he is, and he just can't do it, and it sucks, and it makes me very sad. So
I feel his pain.
I just, I literally feel his pain as a 35-year-old man, trying to make it through life. Yeah, just injuries in general suck. I'm gonna say it. I don't like injuries in general. Too many injuries. Let's clean it up. Do you see De'Aaron Fox might not play now with the Kings? What's going on with the Kings medical staff? De'Aaron Fox said he's got a broken. Woj reported. Fan favorite here on this program. Woj reported that the quote very tip of his finger is broken. Like the very tip, just the tip. The tip of his finger is broken. And this is coming on the heels of the Kings saying that Domantas Sabonis might not be able to play because he's got a boo-boo on his chest. Like what is the gamesmanship with these Kings injury reports? I don't understand it. I can't make sense of it. Like I don't understand how this gives the Kings an advantage to be like he's got a little boo-boo. He chipped his nail. His fingernail broke. Is that what it is?
So he's going to play. He's just letting everybody know, just in case he plays bad.
I mean, they said he broke his finger on a shooting hand, which that's obviously bad. That sucks. If that is in fact what happened, that sucks. But then also, De'Aaron Fox hit the 3 late in the game against the Warriors. Like, so when did he break his finger? Because like he obviously could shoot that, and like that looked fine. He's gonna play, right? Like he's not. I have a bone to pick with the Kings medical staff in general. Like whatever the hell's going on here with your injury reports is insane. But to see Ja Morant out there like with his, he pretty much did have what you said he'd have, like the club, the defensive lineman club. He had so much damn tape he couldn't, could barely shoot a basketball. For him to play through that and then De'Aaron Fox be like, I got a boo-boo on the tip of my finger, I can't play, would be insane to me. But I don't know. Maybe he does. Maybe he broke the tip of his finger. But for Woj to say the very tip of his finger, what even is that? What? I don't know. All right, that's it. That's the show. Thanks to Brandon for coming on. Thanks for the NBA. Thanks to the NBA for having a fun playoff so far. We'll be back on Thursday. I think we might have another fun guest lined up, perhaps, but I don't want to say too much because I don't want to jinx it. But yeah, go ahead.
Shout out to Cody. This is our new editor. This is the first episode he's working on.
Oh, really? Do I get to meet Cody? Should we bring Cody on the show or no? I mean, it's not as ridiculous. Let's do that.
He's a Syracuse fan. He's got nothing to offer.
That's true. He kind of does. He has nothing for us right now. Yeah, I'd like to meet Cody at some point. Is he coming to Chicago?
Yes.
All right. Well, I'll meet him then. Cody, I'll meet you in 6 months. When's the office supposed to be open? September? Is that what they're saying?
September 1st.
Can we bet on the Barstool Sportsbook the over-under the first Mark Titus show that will be recorded because out of the new Chicago office? Because I would set it at December 31st, 2023. And I think that might. We could do probably January 31st, 2024, and I still would not really be sure which way I'd lean on that one. All right, that's enough. Thank you to everybody listening. Like, subscribe, review, do all that sort of thing. Spread the word too, by the way. A lot of your friends were listening during college basketball season, I'm sure, and ditched us, but we're still having fun, man. We're still pumping out these shows throughout the NBA. We're gonna enjoy the ride. So yeah, spread the word. Tell everybody we're back up, as they say in The Wire. And we'll see you guys on Thursday.